Every time I post a video talking about VTech killer shit, there's always at least one guy who likes to come and chime in about how shitty it performs on the low side. Because it's like I'm spreading some kind of misinformation and everybody has to know that it's a terrible idea to do. It doesn't get good gas mileage and it's terrible on the low side. And I get it. I know. You want to spread the truth. Stop misinformation. Let everybody know how fucking smart you are. And I get it. You know, I used to hate on this shit too. Although I think that my reasonings are a little bit more understandable for my hate because how I was initially introduced to the whole topic. People years ago were talking about the VTech killer setup for the K20E3. People were lying about the numbers they were getting. People were trying to claim a 60 wheel horsepower increase from just the cams on the K20E3. It's not the case. You consistently see good numbers off the base model K24 and good numbers being 210 when people were trying to claim 220 on a lower compression, smaller displacement engine. My compression might not be lower, but smaller displacement. So if the bigger engine makes 210 consistently with that setup, you know, you're not making 225. People are saying like with the fucking K20E3 without doing something else other than just the VTech killer modification. But as said topic, talking about the biggest open secret of drag racing, especially for these NAK series. These big power NAK series are all running on single lobe. Single high lobe. They don't fucking call it VTech killer. You don't really hear the big guys talk about VTech killer, VTech killer. But you see a lot of these companies advertising those $800 single roller rocker Ferrea rocker arms, right? What do you think that does? Why do you think 4P sells their own specialized VTech solenoid delete? Because they're deleting the VTech solenoid, running on single lobe rockers, running single lobe cams, because VTech is gone. Because if you're running a drag race engine, you live at high RPMs. You even launch at fucking high RPMs, for fuck's sake. So every time I hear somebody coming in and complaining about it performs, the low end torque is bad and the gas mileage is not good, that's not what this is for. It's for a power upgrade. Now, are there people out there who are thinking that they could just run this shit and get it exactly the same way as they run their car regularly but make all the extra power? That's not how power increases fucking work. All right? My one thing I was saying that's hugely noticeable in the Type R. Again, I'm at 165 miles since I last filled up. And again, I have like a quarter and change in the gas left. Now, mind you, I would beat the dog shit out of the SI and still get 270 something, 280 miles to a full tank of gas. It looks like that the Type R is going to get maybe 200 miles out of a full tank of gas the way I normally regularly drive. Same thing with the S2000. The S2000 is rated for what, like 240 horsepower NA? The Type R is rated for 300 something horsepower? That's what happens. You get more power, you burn more fuel. It's not as economically friendly. So when you run the VTech killer on this engine, it's not going to be economically friendly. And yeah, your power is going to be, the power band is going to be focused on the top end. Although I have it on source from people saying that you can definitely get this shit, you know, squared away in the tune if you really spend the time on it, you know what you're doing. All right, so this shit that they're talking about, like the VTech killer is just fucking a stupid mod, I admitted it. I even deleted my original video on it because my original take was bad, even though I think it does fit in properly with the context. But having that video out there of me talking about the way I did versus the knowledge that I now accumulated over the past couple of years, it seemed silly to have it up there because I didn't want that chance of me fucking sending mixed signals and getting somebody off the topic when VTech killer is a very appropriate modification. just, yeah, you have to realize that you're going to affect the drivability and the way it's going to perform as a daily driver. Like, hey, I'm shifting at 2,500 RPMs or I'm shifting at 3,000 RPMs because I'm just driving this car. That's not the idea for this setup. That's, can you daily the car? Yeah, I mean, you can do that. Again, I've heard plenty of fucking videos with these cars with full exhaust, and it doesn't really sound that crazy. It's not like your drive is going to be a piece of shit. It's not going to make power the same way as it does regularly, because that's just not how it is anymore. You have a constantly high-ass lift on the fucking cams. So that's going to change. But it's a silly fucking thing. And I think one person is guilty of doing this multiple times on videos when I talk about this. As if the whole fucking drag race industry, the guys building $10,000 engines, aren't building VTEC killer engines. They just don't call them that, man. They have their own fucking names they call them, and the fucking VTEC killer rocker arms they sell from Ferrea are like almost $1,000. So when I talk about this being a cheap mod, yeah, if you do it like using stock rocker arms and you go, using the stock VTEC cams, it's a great boost over a base model engine. And let's say like I have plans for the future just to fucking prove a point, but of course I'm finishing my S2000 build. So when I finish the S2000 and I have a short block already set aside and a head already set aside for a system I want to go with, I'm going to go with a base model block with VTEC internals, stock VTEC internals, and a base model head that I'm going to use VTEC killer on just to prove a point on the power that these things can make with minimal effort. All right, so don't fucking get it twisted thinking that the VTEC killer is just some kind of weird off-brand or weird off-subject topic that some people do when the fastest NA guys in the world are running on single lobes. That's VTEC killer. They just don't fucking call it the same. So, Jesus Christ, some people are annoying sometimes, man.